Alright, guys, we're back. Round one is about to begin, and I have a cocktail for you. It is Nature's Way. We were lucky enough to draft Nature's Way, and so this drink is based on perhaps our second best card. Nothing's going to top our Aether Harvester. But when we don't have the Harvester, it's Nature's Way. Okay, so this cocktail right here is a doozy. Okay, mix 3 ounces rye whiskey, an ounce of rosemary simple syrup. You can use regular simple syrup, but if you steep rosemary when you make it, you'll get a nice herbal taste. 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Shake that up on ice. That is step 1. Pour that into your glass. Step 2, 2 teaspoons of blueberry jam. 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. We're getting funky. Okay, and the last step is an egg white. Just the white of the egg. Put that in with those 2 ingredients and shake that up. This you will strain on top of your drink to get a nice foamy top to it. Now, maybe you don't like the idea of drinking raw egg, but guess what? It's Nature's Way. Round 1 has begun. This hand looks okay. We're pretty far from our bomb rock, but any white mana will give us Warden, and in the meantime we have stuff to do, so I'm going to keep. I'm going to take a little sip of Nature's Way. It's Nature's Way. So here we have options. Implement into... Well, we have options, but it doesn't really get us anywhere to play the implement. On turn 2, I want to drop that Seed Sculptor and just get attacking. So the implement will come up later. None of the cards that we can expect to play make any energy, so the fabrication module is not super exciting at this point. Probably wouldn't have been a good idea to put this counter on the Renegade, but I can still do that. I just missed a point of damage. This is what happens when you drink. Also, it's not often that you play a 1-drop in this format. It means don't do things automatically. Yeah, okay. Luckily, that Renegade can still crew vehicles, so I am going to play Mobile Garrison. Mobile Garrison crews for 2. I've pumped that Renegade up to 2, so he can get in a garrison and drive to Paintown or whatever. The opponent has plenty of mana, including a foil. What are we doing? Renegade Freighter is possibly the best common in Kaladesh, so a little scary, and Fragmentize, so we're back to square 1. Okay. I want to make a lot of green mana this turn, so I'm going to pump up the Seed Sculptor. Here I have another Unbridled Growth at my disposal in case I hit a late Revolt card, so I'm going to sacrifice this one. The idea was to draw a land, but no land, so we'll just attack and pass the turn. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. We think. Bastion Mastodon sweet. And the freighter gets in there. Goodbye, Renegade. I'm going to yield to this trigger, but I hope the freighter does not get in there very much more. This is awful. Warden's going to take out the Mastodon. It's just the curl of the burl, man. We need a 2-power creature to crew that freighter. And here we go. A 3-power creature. Winning this game is looking a little dubious. I must draw lands. Oh, that's weird. That's 1 point of damage extra. And then that conviction will go to the graveyard. And all the Tarmogoyfs will be bigger, but I don't see any other benefit there. That's just so strange. Alright, so this turn I could play a Growth, giving me the white mana to cast Rock, which is pretty sweet for attacking, but in the meantime I'll die to that freighter. So I need to block the freighter. I can't do that very well. Clearly the Warden will not be blocking, so the Warden's going to attack. I guess Aether Herder will have to do the job. Get in there, little dwarf. Is that redundant? Aether Herder comes down, makes me 2 energy. Doubt that Aether Herder will attack. And we wait. Thriving Ibex. Ibex can crew the freighter, and that gives the Enforcer a free attack, essentially, since I'm going to double block the freighter and probably not the Enforcer. But in future turns, the Enforcer will not get through. It's just a 1-for-1 though if he attacks with the freighter. And then the Enforcer... Alright. Absolutely. Gotta make that trade to stay in the... Okay, this is pretty good. So now 2 guys can block the freighter or the Ibex, and I get to cast this Rock. Throw down some Unbridled Growth in case that is helpful in future. We could draw Cavalry, Revolt it into a 6/6, which can block anything. In that case, we would be pretty well protected. Okay, this is good. Excellent. No attack there, and I have a Rock with lots of energy to work with. So I think first thing, sacrifice this Growth and see what happens. Alright. Throw down a land, play the Fabrication Module. Throw down a dude, which will make an energy. Put a +1/+1 counter on this Rock in case he has deal 3 damage to an attacking creature, either Impeccable Timing or that 4-mana spell. Swing with the Rock, tapping down the dude, and the Herder can get in there too and make a servo. That leaves me vulnerable to a Crackback, though, which isn't great. Crewing the freighter. That does very little. But it costs you nothing, and you take 5. That's a deal. So here we... Alright. I feel like that concession came out of nowhere, but I'll drink to that. Ugh, okay. This isn't awesome, but we're full of 3-drops, so we have something to do on turn 3, and this guy's deck is pretty slow. I'm going to keep, and I don't know if it's the right move. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to smash with big creatures for the win. It's nature's way. Okay. Renegade's a good draw here. Something to do early, and should we draw nature's way, we can... Okay. Luckily we got a 2-drop, which is good. I will trade this Renegade for his Infiltrator or not. Sure, we'll get in the damage and make a Sage. Sage can block, Sage will certainly block, and that just gives us energy for later. Herder and Rock can both make use of energy. Cruel Finality. Oof, the Renegade Freighter again. Luckily though, oh wow. I was going to say, luckily we have the Narnum Renegade to block the freighter, but beyond that, we have a backup plan. I think the Sage just attacks here. He'll crew the freighter, and we will kill it. Don't get the Revolt benefit, but it's just 3 life. Hopefully not a big deal. Next turn I'll drop the Aether Herder and get to stomping. He may be tempted to block with his Infiltrator on my Aether Herder. I'll certainly block here. Probably should have expected Revolt. I actually had Harpooner in mind, which would have been slightly nastier. But neither the Harpooner nor the Countless Gears Renegade is really a problem for us. It's just an extra servo for him. Aether Herder can still deliver the smackdown, and if he blocks, I have courage to save my guy. I was thinking over there. Take your time. Gotta drink your drink. It's nature's way. Ooh. Well, Herder can crew stuff, so crew he will. What else you got? That is certainly a good card. Mimic is perfect on turn 2. Your next guy gets a +1/+1 counter. Possibly all your next guys get counters. Mimic's not super exciting here. Alright, so I want to play Garrison. Next turn, I can possibly revolt my cavalry down, which will be quite strong here. Yeah, see, his servos are going to have a +1/+1 counter, but he didn't go with Dwarf, which seems like a reasonable pick. Good blueberry tinge to my whiskey cocktail. So my Sage will crew this Garrison if he attacks, but I'd be pretty surprised if he did. No land, so cavalry is out. The garrison could crack in and take down 2 things, which is alright. Actually, it's pretty good because of courage. Save the garrison. Save the world. Untap my herder for no reason. Actually, if the garrison does get ornamental courage, then it'll be available on defense, in which case untapping the herder would be useful. Here I'll put a counter on the garrison, making it stronger for next turn. The Seed Sculptor is a good blocker for more than half his guys. What I don't want to see is something like Srem's Expertise, which makes 3 servos, or something along those lines. Okay, caught in the brights. Two guys on lockdown, but unless he crushes them under a vehicle, they're fine. I'm not worried about this. I'm going to take 2 and crack back with the garrison, looking for a big block. No such luck. I think a 4/4 cavalry, though, is good enough because it can block any of his guys. It can also attack and provoke a multi-block that will profit off ornamental courage. Bastion Mastodon is not what we want to see. That gives him some pretty good blocks. Alright. That's great. This probably makes it look like my my cavalry has a clean attack, which it does, but the attack is even better than it looks. I think I do want to send the garrison as well. Here untapping the cavalry to block with. Next turn I could drop the Aether Seer and make somebody block. So 5 power against the cavalry. Okay. So cavalry is going down, as are both of those creatures. That's fine. I will use the trick to kill the Mastodon and save the garrison. What are we doing here? This order blocking things can get a little confusing. I just want to make sure the Mastodon is in front. Crush that elephant. Kill those guys. Things look pretty good for this team. He doesn't have enough power to stop the garrison, so Pima, Aether Seer. Oh. I think forget that plan. I think the rock is going to come down. Garrison untaps this guy who can't do anything, which is fine. But welcome to the rock. Rock will deliver the killing blow. Can't even chump that. Round 1. There you go.